We have all of your Tesla stock news that you need to know for the day today, and we're going to start this video off with what Elon Musk just said. Elon Musk calls Autopilot, which comes standard in all Teslas, quote, a total game changer. If you haven't tried Tesla Autopilot, you don't know how awesome it is. This is a feature that most of Tesla's competitors charge for, and Tesla gives away for free with the purchase of a Tesla. Tesla's official X page shared this post from Zach on Twitter. He says, or X, that's going to take some getting used to, basic Autopilot doesn't get enough credit for how awesome it is, and it's free. Just drove across the country with it, and it was pretty much flawless and took the strain away from driving. It's included on every Tesla as standard equipment. Tesla is estimated to have its best quarter for sales in Australia's history, as 10 ships have arrived in Australia full of Teslas in this latest quarter. As you can see, another massive batch of Teslas ready to be shipped and really drove away to customers. A total of 749 Tesla Model 3s and Model Ys have been A total of 749 Tesla Model 3s and Model Ys have been unloaded from the port of Fremantle docked Crystal Ace vessel. The process to unload this shipment of Teslas took a couple of days, according to reports from Tesla Owners Club of Western Australia. On top of this large shipment, there are several indicators that point to higher sales this quarter. Looking at the sales for July alone, Tesla has sold nearly 4,000 cars in Australia. This is already up by 7% over April this year, which was the previous first month of the quarter. Tesla actually cut models pricing in Australia earlier this year on the Model 3 and the Model Y, and they are now the cheapest they have ever been, with prices reduced by $3,500 across multiple popular variants. But get this, a Tesla Model 3 now starts at $57,400 before on-roads or state territory rebates, while the Model Y, which has dominated sales this year as Australia's best-selling electric car, has a starting price of $65,400 before on-roads. Way more expensive than what you will buy a Tesla for here in the US, China, or even in Europe. Doral, Florida will soon be home to a new Tesla Motors electric vehicle service and sales center. Tesla will occupy and modify a 5.3-acre lot at 9950 Northwest 25th Street that has a 78,000 square foot building already in place. So Tesla's going to retrofit this to Tesla's needs, make it look beautiful as you can see from this picture, and you're going to have a new sales and servicing center in Florida. This really again flies in the face of Wall Street's estimates for Tesla's growth to massively decelerate in 2024. All I see every day is Tesla making new investments. It just doesn't make sense to me. Tesla continues to be the easiest money on Wall Street, in my personal opinion. Tesla has now secured the title sponsorship for Trend Micro Auto Vulnerability Event. Trend Micro is a global cybersecurity leader and is delighted to announce one of the world's leading car makers as its key sponsor for the first ever PWN to own automotive event, where participants will compete for a total of $1 million in cash prizes and in cars. As you can see right here under Tesla's section, it says first introduced in PWN to own Vancouver in 2019. This category will enable contestants to compete to win cash prizes of up to $200,000 and their own vehicle. Contestants can register an entry against either a Tesla Model 3 or a Model Y or a Tesla Model X or S or equivalent benchtop unit. This I see as almost free advertisement. Tesla has now opened up nearly half of its supercharger sites in Australia to non-Tesla EVs. The company has made 30 of its 63 sites nationally open to non-Tesla EVs following a trial program that began in January, where 5 pilot sites in NSW were open to non-Tesla EVs. These include Bathurst, Dubbo, Holleyden, Noroma, and Tamworth. Tesla plans to monitor utilization trends and get feedback on usage after the new sites become available to more drivers so it can manage any potential congestion at supercharger sites. All the sites are powered by renewable energy. At an earnings call back in 2021, Musk said, quote, "I think we do want to emphasize that our goal to support the advent of sustainable energy, it is not to create a walled garden and use that to belunge in our competitors, which is sometimes used by some companies." Tesla and Elon really just care about the planet, my personal opinion. But this obviously has fundamental benefits to Tesla shareholders as well. This article came out from Barron's today. It says NIO earnings miss estimates, but there is some good news for Tesla and BYD. And we'll skip down to exactly what that good news is. But essentially, NIO expects to deliver 55,000 to 57,000 units in the third quarter. Wall Street was looking for closer to 50,000 units. And Barron's says, coming into earnings, investors had a lot of questions about competition, demand, pricing, and the Chinese economy. NIO answered one question with delivery guidance. It is returning to growth after a relatively weak quarter for sales. Growing deliveries for NIO is also a small positive for overall EV demand in China. In the first 7 months of the year, battery electric vehicle demand has risen about 25% year over year, according to data aggregated by Citi analyst Jeff Chung. That's strong, but August sales are set to fall a little year over year. As China is the largest market for new electric vehicles sold in the whole entire world, the state of the Chinese economy is important. And any company that gives us a glimpse into the Chinese economy, which was NIO and other automakers recently, well, that's great news if things look good for local automakers in China. Great news for Tesla. In other news, the Rivian dual-motor all-wheel drive and performance dual-motor R1T have received their official EPA ratings. Range when compared with 21-inch wheels, R1T dual-motor with max pack of 410 miles, R1T dual-motor with large pack 352 miles. Pretty impressive compared to kind of even some of the vehicles we have out on the roads today. Also in the news today, two of the largest publicly held charging networks in the US, ChargePoint and Blink Charging, have less than a year of cash left. They are burning through cash quickly as automakers frustrated with poor charger reliability start to create their own networks. This news comes to us from Auto News. Unfortunately for EV adoption in general, but positive for Tesla, being that everyone is switching to Tesla superchargers and partnering with Tesla. This is obviously a benefit to Tesla's business, seeing their competition going out of business, but it's not a positive relative to the reliability of EVs. Charging, at least. We need to see chargers as frequent as we need to see gas stations, basically on every corner of every street, before we get your mass adoption, before 100% of new vehicles are EVs. That is a requirement, more or less. Tesla stock yesterday rose the most in a single day in the last 5 months. This cost the short sellers around $2 billion just with the move that we seen yesterday. And Tesla stock is up another 0.5% at the time of recording this video. If this winning streak for Tesla continues, short sellers and really bears in general that have bearish positions on Tesla could be in a whole world of trouble. The economic data that we got today surely supports Tesla stock going higher. And the data that we got was the ADP employment change. We've seen 177,000 jobs added in the month of August. You were expecting 195,000. So this came in under expectations. This is great for cooling the labor market. But your GDP growth rate, quarter over quarter, the second estimate, so a revised data point of GDP, came in at 2.1%. You were expecting 2.4%. So it came in much weaker than we previously thought Q2 GDP was at. The next revision we get will be the final one, and it wouldn't surprise me if GDP gets revised under 2%. So what this means is, well, the economy not as strong as you initially thought for Q2. This means that the Fed might not need to raise rates again, and they might actually hold for the next 8 months or so before we get the first rate cut. Currently, for September 20th, 2023, the next Fed meeting, you're expecting a hold with an 89% chance and a rate hike with only an 11% chance. The Fed always goes with what the markets are pricing in. Unless there is a problem, unless they broke something and they needed to cut rates, they always go with what the markets price in. So September 20th, 3 weeks, 0 days, 0 hours, and 42 minutes from now, you want to mark your calendars. This data today supports the economy is slowing faster than we thought, so that means your 2-year Treasury yield is down about 3.5 basis points, and your 10-year Treasury yield is down about 2.5 basis points. These yields have come off their highs recently. This is great. This is telling us that maybe we won't have higher for longer from the Fed, but it's also allowing for companies that revolve around credit to have maybe not so stressed of a operating environment, because the higher bond yields go, the higher or more expensive it is to get credit, aka get a loan. And Tesla specifically, or any other automaker for that much, is revolving around credit. About 90% of new vehicles are bought with a loan. So this is, again, great news for Tesla. Tomorrow's economic data will also be very important. We will get personal income month over month, personal spending month over month, and your PCE numbers month over month and year over year, as well as initial jobless claims for the week of August 26th. Fed Collins that speaks at 9 a.m. right after this data comes out. Chicago PMIs, as well as 15 and 30-year mortgage rates. All of this data will be very important, and we will elaborate and really break this down more in the video that comes out at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time today, so you really don't want to miss it. Tesla's stock today is seeing a positive order value of 56% in the options market. Again, the way I like to look at this is if you had a $100 bill going into Tesla's options, well, $56 out of that $100 bill, a little over half, is going into positive options today. That would be buying calls or selling puts, and the other remaining 43% would be going, or 44%, would be going into bearish positioning today, which would be buying puts or selling calls. You have seen $216.23 million worth of options placed on Tesla today, with 735 individual trades. Tesla's stock currently has a little bit over 80 million shares that are sold short. The dollar amount that is sold short is sitting at $20.55 billion. This has risen recently from a low of about $17 billion, and over the next couple of days, we're going to get higher numbers here. So more shorts with larger short positions. They could be especially vulnerable if Tesla stock does start to make its way back into the 260, 270, 280 range, and then ultimately 300. In my opinion, when the Cybertruck comes out, that's going to be a very bullish catalyst to contend with if you are a short. And that could be a very big problem if you're a bear on Tesla stock. And the Cybertruck delivery event could come out at any time. You could wake up tomorrow and we have a date for the Cybertruck deliveries to start, and this event that would be a bad time to be short in Tesla. As far as Tesla's actual share price, you are sitting at $258.37 per share, up about a 0.5% today. Tesla stock did break above the 50-day moving average quite easily today, and that 50-day moving average was a level that I pointed out in yesterday's video at $256.69 per share. Yesterday, this was at $257 per share. So it has come down over the last 12 hours or so, and you broke above that with ease. That was going to be your resistance level if you were going to see one. Your next resistance level is not until 265. So Tesla has a little bit of room to make a higher level before we run into another resistance level. This could be great news if the data tomorrow comes in good and supports less Fed rate hikes, or maybe not being as high for as long. At the same time, if we get data that supports a soft landing, that's the best case scenario for Tesla stock. And I imagine, again, once the Cybertruck deliveries start, Tesla stock is going to be in the 300s. It's no longer going to be in the 200s. That's obviously my personal opinion, and I'm not a financial advisor, so don't trade or invest based off of what I say, but I think a lot of you guys would also agree with me. For whatever reason, though, if we do get downside, and let's say the data is really bad, let's say personal spending just plummeted, and there's fears about a recession, well, your next level to the downside is going to be 240. But if Tesla, for whatever reason, falls under that quickly, your next major level is the 100-day moving average. That is at $224.27. Just given we have an upcoming catalyst that is so big, the Cybertruck, we've been waiting on that for 19 months, I would not expect Tesla to break under the 100-day moving average unless the markets themselves we're feeling a lot of pain as well. If we were to go through a 10 or 15 or 20% crash all of a sudden, well, Tesla stock could end its way or make its way under $200 per share. That's certainly possible. But unless something of that scale happens, I would expect Tesla would remain above $200 per share. Don't be confused. I would love Tesla to go under $200 per share. I would sell a kidney if I could to buy Tesla stock under $200 per share because it's such an easy buy. And back here, hopefully you took advantage of Tesla being at 100 because you don't get those opportunities all too often. So hopefully we do get some downside in Tesla. If we don't, then it looks like we're probably in for an even larger move higher, but it wouldn't surprise me if we do consolidate sideways a little bit. The RSI is at 58.36, so a little bit above neutral considering the move we have seen in the last 2 days or so. That is pretty dang good. And the MACD is also about to go positive. You're still negative by about 5.86 on the signal line, but this yellow line is above the blue line. That is positive. Typically, when this break does happen, it's a good time to go long in Tesla. And once you do start to get over, the positive line, which is right here on my cursor, like right here, tends to be a real pop off top kind of rally for Tesla. The last time we seen something of this scale was back here, from May until as recently as right before Tesla's last earnings. And then before that, this also happened in January of 2023. This also happened in June of 2022. All of these instances on the MACD were right before massive rallies for Tesla. And we're starting to get that playing out yet again, where the MACD was really negative and everything looked pretty bad. And the MACD just all of a sudden, this yellow line goes above the blue line, and it could be a sign that we're in for a larger rally to come. If you guys would like to come trade with me live in real time, we make trades and we send out alerts. Link down below in the description of this video. We are hedging out our portfolio. We are buying some longs. We are doing a little bit of everything. So in the event, if the markets did crash, we're going to make a lot of money on hedges. We're going to take those profits and put that back into Tesla stock, presumably at much lower prices. To the contrary, if the markets don't crash and Tesla stock continues to rally, well, we're also going to be doing very well because we're also playing the long side. That is how I personally position my portfolio. If you guys want to come trade with me, maybe not trade everything I trade because it's not a financial recommendation and you could lose money, but at least see what we are doing in the community, well, link down below in the description of this video. That is going to do it for this video. I highly recommend you guys stay tuned for the channel. For that 8 p.m. video today, it's going to be a big one as far as breaking down the economic data for tomorrow and a couple other things as well, as we like to do it at night. 8 p.m. is always a good video, so stay tuned for that one. Hit the like button and subscribe to the channel if you made it to the end of this video and you are currently hearing my voice. Thank you for being here. I do very much appreciate every single one of you. By the way, my name is Michael Tyler. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one.